infested by mosquitoes here. We've had, it's weird. We've had a few pretty good rains over here for a couple of weeks, and I told you the temperature's gone down. And man, when I go outside, I was at the gym yesterday, and I got a business call, a late business call I had to take. So I stepped outside and just got mauled by mosquitoes. I could not believe it. I had like 8 or 9 mosquito bites in a 10-minute phone call outside. It was just, oh my God, just there everywhere. And I heard that it's a blood type thing. Like sometimes some people have certain blood types that mosquitoes love. Like you ever go out and mosquitoes are eating me up, but they're not on you at all.
Yeah.
Is that ever happening?
Well,
I'm the guy.
I keep Lisa around for that. She's like one of those
See?
bug attractors.
That's right. That's what happens. It's the one person is the bug attractor, and they're hoping for somebody, that bug attractor like me. I got a friend, Penny. She's the worst bug attractor, and then when she comes around, they leave me and they go over to her.
Oh,
awesome.
that's great. When I was in Little League, I remember playing out in the outfield, and it was one of those deals. Those bugs were just gnats, and everything was so bad. I learned if you put your glove way up in the air, they go to the highest thing. So
is that it?
Yeah, and I got everybody else. We were all out there.
Everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that team?
Hey, let's get going. There's a lot going on here. And to start off with, I wanted to revisit our discussion about what if our basic needs were met, because I did do a little research on that, and it got fun and interesting.
Okay.
In the second segment, chime in with what you got, but I definitely have a bit about the Trump warning Israel about the annexation threats, threatening the support of the U.S. Boy, did I say that horribly. But about the Israel thing, because I hate talking about Israel. I really do. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of our welfare recipient bossing us around for some reason. But breaking news this morning, and I'm hoping I can paste it in right now. I barely took notes on this while I was at the gym. I got some about our bailout, our new bailout of Argentina of $40 billion. Yeah, I'll explain. About? Yeah, we'll talk about it it's really disturbing because it was supposed to be very much on the down low.
I hate the term bailout, which always equals hard times for consumers. Really, for us, this is an invisible tax that keeps on happening to us.
Well, not to get ahead of ourselves, but what I was thinking about a lot this morning is what we have to realize is we just almost overnight have gotten all this information available to us. Even in the Obama administration, which wasn't that long ago, we were just getting fed what mainstream media put out to us.
Oh, absolutely. That is right. And it's, what sucks is how this information comes out about what was happening. During the Obama administration, we're getting more and more information about what was happening with Russiagate, and it's infuriating. Yeah. But what are you going to do? It was 10 years ago. Yeah. I mean, are we really going to go after Obama? Are we really going to? It's kind of frustrating, man. It really is.
So frustrating. Everything is so frustrating.
Why does it take so long for us to figure these things out when we figured it out pretty quickly?
Right. That's the Argentinian thing too. And that will go into, I forgot, about our beef problems and the cost of beef around here. There's stuff
crazy. Crazy. If you want a burger now, it's like, that'll be $20. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, if you talk to a cattle farmer in the U.S., they would have shed a whole different light on things than the stories that we got.
We're seeing out here where our water prices are going up, water shortages, and that is impacting the farming, and it's driving prices up because the water prices are going up here. So there's the domino effect on all of these different things, and it's like, why is our water? What's up with the water? Well, here's one thing. All these people, including me, moved from California over here. And now it's like, where's the water?
Right. Very true.
We did move to the middle of the desert. So anyway.
If we get to it, I also have a story about the the rampant punchers in Chicago that are attacking women, punching
I
women.
hadn't heard about that until you brought it up, and I looked it up, and I'm like, "What? What do
Yeah.
so we just keep letting these guys out to keep punching people?
Yeah, yeah. You know, that
Women.
could lead into a whole conversation about the National Guard being deployed into the
Well, that's
Democratic
something I
cities.
wanted to talk about
Okay.
too. Is just something that we saw. We hear all of this stuff about these democratic cities that are just saying, "No, we're not gonna help you with the police," and everybody's up in arms. There's protests. We just had a shooting happen this morning up in the Bay Area in San Francisco at an ICE facility, and then you got Memphis, and they sent ICE over to Memphis, but this is a blue city, and the difference is actually unbelievable in the reception that they got, and I got a little clip on that to show.
Oh,
So
okay. I got a couple
talk
clips
about
with
that.
to accompany mine as well. So, yeah, sometimes we have none, and sometimes we have a bunch.
Yeah,
And just so you know, I thought I gave you sharing.
you
I'm
did.
going to.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
good.
okay. All right, so
Yeah.
let's start on this. Merle, I think you're going to find this a fun conversation this time. I was so unprepared. I should have kept my mouth shut last time because it was
It was
clumsy.
fun though. It was a
But
fun conversation.
It's the conversation about, hey, what if the government disclosed alien technology? Stay away from that word. But advanced technology, hey, you know what? We have free renewable energy. Okay, so we do. In fact, we have since Tesla, but we kept it under wraps. Well, we're going to unveil it now. And the result is, I said last week, all of a sudden nobody has to go to work. Okay, that's stupid because somebody's got to run the infrastructure and the tech companies, and that would mean that we were in a total totalitarian, nightmare. It would be that in a minute. The more realistic version of this would be, hey, you know what? With AI and with our energy needs being met more, there's much less, and so there's so much more automation that we can't employ everybody. We just can't, and we don't need to because all your basic needs, your bare minimum needs can be met. We can supply government housing and food and water, those bare means. And that means X amount of you don't have to work. If you don't want to work, you don't have to. You got the bare minimum. But there's enough jobs available that if you want to work, you can work. That is what the conversation I had with Chat. That is a more realistic conversation. And my question was, what would that look like in society? Would it be the utopian, all of a sudden unicorns come pouring in and we're all so happy and it's heaven on earth? Or we often talked about everybody without purpose turn into drugs and all of this stuff. Where would it be? The answers were very surprising and positive. And I really think so because I do think it's inevitable that we either move towards this or this country defaults and goes into a dystopian nightmare. And the things that we talk about in current events, we talk about them because we're trying to prevent that from happening. Yeah. All right, so let me read some of this. What would happen to society if, very hypothetically, the government divulged to have limitless renewable energy and more sophisticated automation? Basic food, transportation, and apartments, basic living needs, will be provided. And there are enough jobs available that if you want to work for additional income, you can. What percentage of people would choose to work? Would addictions and discontent become the rule, or would we become the leftist utopia? And Chat replied, fun thought experiment. Here's a sober take based on what we know from UBI, Universal Basic Income, lottery, windfall studies, Alaska's dividend, I don't know what that is, kibbutzim, don't know what that is, pandemic checks, definitely know what that is, and long-run labor research. It says, so we're taking our information from what we learned from these things, and it says, and I'll give you the numbers. But first, I want to ask you, do you know what it means by Alaska's dividend and kibbutzim?
I think that Alaska had some type of guaranteed income based on the oil production out of there. That's something I remember vaguely. So,
okay.
I think it's actually something they actually do.
Okay. Obviously, I know it's some kind of stipend of some sort.
Yes.
Why many
Yeah.
people would still work. Even if basics are free, people work for status, identity, and purpose. These are big
Right.
drivers in the surveys. More, better stuff. Travel, bigger place, kids and extras. Social life slash structure. We talk about that. Just the need
Right.
for routine and teammates. Because really, we're humans. That's what makes life worth living. Autonomy
Right.
slash creation, running your own thing, doing your own thing, being creative. So likely labor behavior, it says, chat says, my best estimates. Assume food, transportation, housing guaranteed. Real jobs still exist for extra income, but there's no stigma either way. It says, keep working full or part-time, 60 to 80%. These numbers, I think, will shock you. And there'd be initial dip, and then many would return when the novelty of free time high wears off.
Right. Yeah.
Don't take paid jobs, but do unpaid work, volunteer. 10 to 25%. Parenting, caregiving, community organizations, art, studies, sports. Opt out long-term with minimal structured activity, only 5 to 10%. The at-risk group for boredom, isolation, addiction, if nothing else fills the gap. Those are the three. So, you got,
Very interesting.
about 75% estimated would keep working full or part-time. About 20% would take paid, non-paid jobs, volunteer work. And 7-8% would opt out long-term, would not work, and would be struggling to find themselves, I suppose. It says the age split you would likely see. 18 to 29-year-olds would be more experimenting and education oriented, higher non-work share short-term. Not sure what that means in that way. 30 to 54-year-olds. Your classic middle age. Highest paid work participation. Kids, mortgages, want of extras. 55 plus, early partial retirement, more volunteering. Would addiction slash discontent spike or a leftist utopia emerge? Neither is automatic. You get one of two attractors depending on the design. This is really important, and I promise I'm almost done. So it depends on how this is rolled out as to whether it's more positive or negative. So number one, bad path risks. If you just hand out basics and walk away. Meaning shock, loss of routine, spikes in loneliness, gaming, and substance abuse be a small percentage would fall into. Status arms race. If extras are wildly unequal, resentment would remain high. I could see that happening. Idle by default neighborhoods. Sounds like kind of ghetto, trailer park kind of thing. Concentrated non-work areas breed disorder, and it's a chasing
lawlessness, right?
Yeah. It's a perpetual thing, and the culture perpetuates it in itself. Number two, though, the other side of it, the good pathway steering. If you design for purpose infrastructure, funded apprenticeships, maker spaces, music sports clubs, local studios. In other words, create places where you show up. Opt-in civic service. Paid part-time stints such as disaster prep, tutoring, park crews. So you'll notice that it gets real community-oriented at this point. Learning stipends, automatic funding to retrain or pursue crafts, visible badges and credentials, light social contracts, nudge people towards some structured path, job, study, service, caregiving, while respecting freedom. God, that almost sounds like the O5O community we're talking about. And finally, health guardrails, easy access to mental health, SUD care. What is SUD care? SUD care.
I have no idea.
Oh, I thought you. Okay. Smart
SUD.
limits on predatory gambling and drug markets. So, in summation, with these in place, the problematic addiction/disorder group likely only stays around 3 to 6%, similar to today. or a bit lower. Without them, it could float as high as 8 to 12% in some communities. So just quickly, macro cultural effects to expect: shorter average work week, think 25 to 32 hours, entrepreneurial spike, births go up, caregiving jobs go up, which is very needed, caregiving. Inequality of consumption falls. But status gains shift to experiences, taste, skill, and reputation. When I remember reading it the first time and I got it, and this time I don't get it. Politics, pressure for strong public goods, parks, arts, courts, health, because everyone uses them. So that's it. I thought you would be interrupting me with comments.
No, I just wanted to hear you out on this because as I'm thinking through of what you are talking about here, it really boils down to how it's implemented. I think that was very smart. And as we take a look at, you started out by talking about how you feel that we really have to embrace this because a lot of this is coming through automation and with AI and robotics that are happening. It's going to happen. We know that. We're already seeing it. There's all these trucks out there that are driverless now. They can be loaded and unloaded without human intervention. There's AI that's happening in medicine. It's happening everywhere. So we already see what's happening in our government, which is one of the largest employers in all of history, and we're gutting that. So where are those people going to go into the job market here? And at the same time, with all this automation, it's squeezing the opportunities out. So how does this happen? And it makes sense that there would be some, I'm using finger quotes, discovery that there's this unlimited energy that's available and that we've got to come up with some kind of alternative plan. However, what I have seen is the implementation by governments of plans like this. There's always a give and take. Like they're going to give you something, but it's just like your parents always told you. There's no free lunch. Nothing actually comes for free. So what is going to happen with this type of thing to me is pretty obvious that in order to get these things, you're going to have to give up your liberties, your freedoms, and actually fall under total control of a totalitarian type of a government. Because really, the only motivation for a government to do something like this would be to totally control everything about your life. And they're the only ones that could implement something like this. So we've seen that we can't trust these people as far as we could throw them, and many of them we couldn't even budge. But, I'm just saying that Let me
ask you this.
Go ahead.
Under those circumstances, do you think, what I'm proposing is, so would if capital were so less attractive, like right now, our thoughts about a dollar is rabid. Our thoughts about wealth is rabid. It means life or death. When it no longer means life or death, only an improvement in luxury, would our government change? Because every day, all I think about is how infiltrated, how everything in our government, the United States of America, we the people, does not exist. It is we the dollar. God, I hope that doesn't sound trite because I am dead serious about that. Every day it becomes more apparent to me. And these dollars come from all kinds of nefarious sources. We'll talk more about that here shortly.
Well,
Merle, I want to ask you, so in this more utopian type way, do you think our politics would change? People have more time, don't have to work. Would more honorable people go into politics and want to run things better for the people? We the people?
That is a great question. I would want to believe that something like that would happen. However, what I do believe, again, is in order to implement something like this, it would be the people that are already there. And
I know.
Why would they do it? It's to have perpetual
It would be a power
control.
grab. Yeah,
exactly. It would be for perpetual control. And therefore, there wouldn't be a chance for good people to get in. The only motivation is to control good people. And I do like, however, what we're talking about more time. Like, first of all, we've seen an evolution since the Industrial Revolution, where our families are really torn apart by the time of work and the amount of work. People are working more and more and more, and they don't see their families anymore. And it's really changed. And what would happen if mothers could spend more time with their children
Raising kids?
and marriages could have this, time together and really growing a family, exactly,
It
which
would
is
be
really the
great.
center of where everything is
Back to
supposed to
family.
be. But again, if the government is enabling you to have all of this time, they're going to want their payment
Control.
for this. Exactly.
Hmm.
And we're already seeing what's the result here with digital ID and central
Uh-huh.
bank digital currency. That, along with our smartphones and the fact that they can track everywhere that we go right
Uh-huh.
now, means that in a system like this, they can control where we live. They can control where we can travel, even who the friends that we can have and who we can communicate with. All of those things would be under control. And we're seeing something like this. If there's no money to control you, there's other factors like what I'm talking about. These freedoms would become the currency. And we
Mm.
see also where the social credit score and is used in China. This
Frightening.
is exactly how it would be manipulated, or how we would be manipulated into doing the bidding of those in control. We have this thing called communism, and what we learned about it as little kids was, oh, everybody shares equally and everybody has this thing. But but what we've seen is, in reality, it's a small group of people that are actually have fleeced all of the people of a society of all of their wherewithal, and they're in control of everything. And basically those people become slaves. And here, if we're able to earn our own money and earn our own way by work that we do, nobody can take that away, supposedly. And then you know, the whole concept of America is that you and I are sovereign, like a king. We're sovereign over our own lives. We're in control. We decide how our lives are supposed to be led, not somebody else. And if somebody else is so-called, this would be the manipulation, is, yeah, there's all this so-called free money, but it's coming from the government. So
Yeah.
really you owe us. And it really, the whole concept is that the government is supposed to work for us, but you see how they've changed it around where everybody
Hmm.
feels like we work for the government.
Oh, yeah.
And this is exactly what it would be that on steroids, is how I
Maybe.
feel.
Okay.
It's because of how it would be implemented.
Because
If
of
it
how
could be
things are now.
implemented organically, like it was a movement of the people, then that would be totally different. But
Yeah.
in order to make that happen, we'd really have to unite. And
That's
this
what
is
this
the
show is so
hardest thing,
largely about. Okay,
right?
following a positive track though is something I spoke about a few minutes ago, is our increased awareness because of free media and no longer mainstream media. Now, if we followed the mainstream media route, what you just said, your biggest fears would absolutely come true. But
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we are becoming more and more aware of all of the tricks that are going on and all the ways that we've been manipulated, and from what I see, there's a gigantic push back on that to reclaim
I
our
see it too.
government. So
Yeah, I see that too.
if it continues in that way, and God, we're going to talk about those hedge fund companies again in a few minutes. We have to find a way to take back the power. And the power comes from
That's right.
the purse. And
It
the hedge
does.
fund companies are at the top of the
Oh,
pecking.
look at what they're doing. Did you see Larry Fink this past week? He's
No.
the He's going to
founder
run the
of BlackRock.
WEF. He is the
Yeah.
CEO of BlackRock, one of the richest guys in the world. It looks like he's the guy that's been given the baton to take over the WEF. He's talking about tokenizing really everything in the world. In other words, tokenizing means that everything would have like an asset number. Everything. We already have asset numbers. It's our
Yeah.
social security number. But that's what's happening there. And you're seeing some other things here regarding maritime law and how the United Nations is looking to be able to take over our sovereignty through maritime law. And some of these things they want to be able to implement legally here in the United States. There is a huge push by these globalists right now to be able to control every aspect of our lives. So this is exactly what is so interesting that you picked this subject today, because it's going to be spun to us, I believe, exactly the way that we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take care of everything for you. We're going to give you a living wage.
Yeah.
All you have to do is give us, sign up for this electronic ID, and
Yeah.
this digital ID. Don't worry about what everybody says about it. It's misinformation, and even worse,
Yeah.
it's disinformation
New words.
from
Love those.
from fascists and Nazis.
Yeah.
And so don't listen to them. And oh, by the way, this is all voluntary. Right? You don't have to do this.
Like
This
the
is
COVID
how they're going to
shot.
do it. It's going to be exactly like this. You don't have to do it, but then you go to work and well, he said that, but if you don't do it, you're going to
Yeah.
get fired. It's still
There's a
your
lot of
choice,
pressure on me.
technically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
and it's all going to be spun as a benefit, right? We're going to protect you. Reimagine how we use money, right? That they're going to use those kinds of terms, and it's going to be.
Uh-huh.
Here's the other thing that's going to happen is, these things can be hacked. Yeah, these smartphones and
Yeah.
everything, they can be hacked. So Bill Gates is already inventing technology that would go underneath of your skin. And that way nobody can steal your identity or anything like that. That's all being put together right now.
Yeah.
And the weird part about it is all of this is inside of the Bible. And it makes me wonder, like, do these people that are talking about all of this as like, oh, this is a great idea, do they realize that the calamitous area of the Bible and Revelation, that it talks about all of these things coming together? So this is a pretty crazy time that we live in right now.
It is.
And I wonder, like, what this is a good time to get a Bible and start reading it, I think.
That's
And
a
speaking
good
of
way to
that,
put it.
yeah, Bible sales, by the way, have gone up dramatically, 36% on top of year over year since Charlie Kirk got shot.
Really?
And oh yeah, and it was already on a pretty large trend before the shooting happened. It does look to me like there's a very real spiritual movement of God that's happening at the same time that we're hearing about all of these dark things. It kind of feels like it might be a result of all the good things that God is actually doing that they don't actually talk about in the news.
Well, just to cap off that previous conversation about what could happen how more automation, more AI, and free or renewable energy, how it could impact things. I was looking at it like this, is looking back into the future and kids being taught history about how they're talking about the 20th century and the Industrial Revolution and how the unions came about to put a capper on slave labor, and then the weekend came about, and so people were leading more sane lives with a productive society. But then in the 21st century, things got pretty crazy again, let's say in the early 21st century, and it really did kind of become slavish all over again. Now both parents needed to work, absolutely had to. And the system was such where it was putting the screws on everybody, the healthcare system, just draining all of any extra penny out of every human being possible. And to the point where all this chaos was being created in society. Well, when the renewable energy came about and automation through AI and things started working out, and now people worked on more of a voluntary basis. And my point is, people would in history look back on this period today, right now, is the true ending of real slavery of every human being. Because I do feel like this is a slave society right now.
Well, if you take a look at like what is slavery, you do the work, somebody else makes the profit, and when you take a look at how deficit spending operates, along with these hedge fund companies that are all getting all of the benefit, they're printing a huge amount of money, which is literally stealing the value of our dollars. In other words, it's wealth redistribution from my pocket invisibly into these elites' pockets, and they get richer and richer. And meanwhile, I'm like Lucy and Ethel in the candy factory, where I can't wrap up this candy fast enough, right? And it keeps getting faster and faster, and this guy keeps getting fatter and fatter, and I'm getting skinnier and skinnier. That is what slavery is. We're indentured servants here. Go ahead.
It's exactly right. But the positive of what you just said is we're not supposed to know that. You know what?
That's right.
Now we all know that. And we're talking about it right now, you and me, not even being paid for it, on an average everyday Friday.
Well, and this is what's important, Barry, is that people need to wake up to what's actually going on. I thought it was so ironic. The whole woke movement is actually the opposite of being awake. And and I remember the first time I heard it said, I thought, what did they just say? I could see the woman's face. She's so horrible. Who said it? He woke. And I thought, well, she's using Ebonics, and then I heard like everybody start saying it that way, and I'm like, what? And so, but it's really, you got your head in the sand. You don't know anything about history. You've just made up a whole new thing
very
that
simple.
nobody ever heard of, right? And you're calling it woke, but really at the foundation of it, it's a weapon that's trained to destroy the very fabric of our brotherhood, our love thy neighbor type of attitude that's really grown this country into what it was, and what it's at its zenith. That's what it was all about, is the family and taking care of the family, the individual, and
huge attack on family. Huge.
My gosh, it's so horrible.
Who would have ever thought that could, if we were much young, if it was 20 years ago and you were not, you know what? They're going to be attacking the family structure in the future. Be like, what?
Oh yeah, we wouldn't believe that. Yeah. That could never happen. Never happen. But now, gosh, I don't have this in front of me, but they just passed a law in California where, and it has to do with all of these illegal aliens that have been coming in and being deported, the whole ICE thing. And they're saying, oh, well, kids are being separated. So they passed a law that said that almost anybody could go to the school and say, oh, I'm the guardian for little Johnny and Susie. And then they give the kids to virtual strangers, and they can just go off with your kids. They have to show very little type of any kind of identification on it. Look, you don't need ID to vote over there or anything like that. So basically, you could just commandeer kids out of school now, without anybody stopping you. Look into this. It's really interesting, the things that are happening in California right now. I get look at like that guy wants to run for president, and the record that he's going to have to defend. How is he ever going to get over
that again? I think these people are very slow to get up to speed here. That this is not the mainstream media days anymore. I just don't see Newsom having a chance because of his track record, because of the obvious.
It's terrible. You know what I just read, Barry, is that Pacific Palisades in California, where the fire hit, they've got hundreds of permits to start building now. Malibu, that also got hit, has only got one.
Yeah.
Only one permit to rebuild in Malibu right now. Hundreds of houses went down, and they're all along Pacific Coast. There's construction zones, cones everywhere, but nothing's happening.
Why is that again? Why can't they get the permits?
Because this is something we saw the whole time I lived there, is that anytime a business would go out of business, it would take forever to fill that business. Again, in prime locations, they'd be empty for years sometimes. It's the city of Malibu. It's the regulatory that they have going on there. Everybody's getting their hand buttered by the cash machine that's happening, and it's now very open to foreign influence. And so people from other countries have their eyes on this. It's all about money. Follow
Yeah,
the money on
always.
this whole thing, and it's devastating. This is exactly when this happened. This is exactly what I was talking about. Is that they're talking about how they're going to rebuild this all overnight. No way. Nothing happens overnight over there. There's too much of this bureaucratic nightmare, this regulatory mess that they have. And really it all boils down to not providing for the citizens. People are getting paid. That's what it is. The whole homeless
The
thing that happened
homeless
over there that went
industrial
crazy.
complex.
We voted so many times to add more money to build homeless complexes.
It just
We found out
disappears.
recently that, oh yeah, this one person just got busted a couple of weeks ago, millions and millions of dollars into their own pocket.
Uh,
That's what's been going
Dude,
on
they
here the
passed
entire time.
legislation couple years ago, $23 billion to combat to fix the homeless situation. Not a dent.
23 billion. Yep,
23 billion
it's
disappeared.
crazy.
How do you not be able to just say, I want to see your books? Where did this
Well,
money go?
this is the crazy thing about the government shutdown that's happened. I mean, we're looking at California as a state here, but look at our nation. The reason that this is shut down has everything to do with the $1.5 trillion that isn't added into the budget for all of these crazy things. And it is money for providing health care for illegal aliens. It is for all of these other crazy things that got cut out of Doge. But what's really happening here is that money's not going to all these other places they're saying it's going into these people's pockets. That's what's happening. That's why they're fighting so hard. That's why they shut down the government. I mean, we have friends and family that aren't working and aren't getting paid now. They're being held hostage by you want to blame one party or the other. I blame them both. I blame them
Oh,
all.
dude, there's
You
no
know,
two parties. That's a sham.
and take a look at this. How are they ever going to come to a happy medium on this? Both sides are so far apart that there's no possible way for reconciliation. I don't know that the government's ever going to open up again. How could it possibly happen? There's so much hate. There's so much vitriol towards one another that there's no common ground anymore. It's gone.
Yeah, yeah. Somehow or another, that's kind of leading me into this. And boy, the time is flying here. I'm going to
Sure
just
is.
briefly talk about Jimmy Dore this morning, listen to his podcast. And by the way, like he often has really, really incredible, insightful things on there. And then
He
other times,
does.
like the previous podcast, 10 minutes in, I had to shut it off. I couldn't take it anymore.
It's like stupid.
It was stupid. It really was. But this
Sometimes
one,
it's so good though. I
yeah,
know.
yeah. This one was very enlightening. Now, I wanted to come back here in time to do some of my own quick research, verify what I could or not. I didn't have time. My notes are just what I was at the gym putting into my email, so bear with me because it's mostly by memory. But he was talking about this Argentinian bailout. Now, I want to back
Yeah.
up for a second and talk about how I was singing the praises and you were agreeing with me, full disclosure, on Javier Millan, the new libertarian president elected
Oh
into
yeah. Yeah. Oh
Argentina.
no, did he mess up
Oh,
Argentina?
he is. And but the praises were being sung about how quickly the economy was being turned around 8 months ago.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Jordan Peterson had him on his show, who his daughter was on I saw in a quick short saying that he's fighting for his life again with his chronic disease. So prayers to
Oh
him.
no.
Um, but so I had come to understand that these libertarian free market principles, giving everything over to the private sector, was going to, the saving magic bullet. And anyways, it turns out the Argentina's going down the freaking tubes, and the hedge fund company Discovery Capital, who George Soros and Julian Robertson are a big part of,
Yeah.
they bet on Argentina. They bought up a bunch of their debt, and now they are getting bailed out to the tune of, and somehow comes up to Argentina, it comes up with $60 million. But it looks like 20, it's this shell game that's being played. So the first 20 billion is to come from the IMF. Now, when that defaults, as it's going to, then the U.S. Treasury is going to bail that out. That's our taxpayer dollars, for another 20 billion. And all of this, by the way, okay, so Citron, some dude named Citron is the billionaire hedging fund manager, founder of Discovery Capital. And Besant is somebody in our government.
Yeah, he's our treasurer.
He's Soros's former right-hand man.
What?
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't get a chance to look all this up, but I do trust this source. So I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there, so if you hear a little something, listen. Right. Now, by the way, I thought Dor made a very good comment. Now, so all of this is bailing out billionaire hedge funds with taxpayer dollars, and it's on the down low. He played a clip of Trump being asked about this where he did his typical, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and repeated a bunch of nonsense over and over again very angrily for a while. He was busted on that one. I hate to bring his name in because people get too emotional at that point and start digging into the team thing. Because the point is, as we said a minute ago, dude, there's not two teams. It doesn't matter who is in that government at any given time. This crap still takes place. The exact same stuff. So
it is the same.
Let's get a clue. I'm not sure how the power structure works. I really don't. I think the CIA is extremely powerful, but is that really the end-all, be-all? I don't know. I don't think so. I think this deep state, I've heard it said before, this deep state thing is rather ambiguous. It's very powerful people from different operations that just all have the same common goal of lining pockets. I don't know.
I think you're right about that. I mean, this is a classic operation that's happening. We've seen it a bunch of times where the bailout happens, and you said Soros is involved. He's done this many times. He's a country destroyer.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is they get these countries that are in massive debt, and they make a deal with the country where they bail them out. But wherever that money comes from, and it's going to come from the American taxpayer. The loan agreement is an agreement that this country's never going to be able to get out of. Right. They've designed it on purpose so that the country can't get out of debt. And what they're looking for is they're looking for the country to default so that they can come in and they can redo the loan. And when they come in and redo the loan, they're going to extend it out even further. So this goes along with what you were talking about before. The only way that these countries are ever going to justify giving you anything is by them getting free money themselves, which is printed money. It's fiat money, right? When we had the COVID bailout and people were getting those checks, that wasn't coming from our national treasury. It was coming from our national printer. And
it was coming from our future. It was borrowing
all fiat money. That's exactly right. It's all fiat money. It's all money that's going to water down the value of every dollar that's out there. That's where the value of this money came from. So if you had money in the bank, if you're making money at work, this money came right out of your pocketbook, and it went into other people's hands. That's what wealth redistribution is. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is as well. It's wealth redistribution. This is not actually going to help Argentina. This is going to help George Soros and the people that support and are all a part of this globalist alliance. And it's all going into a central place. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a civil war that suddenly starts to happen in Argentina because the military-industrial complex has to get in on it as well.
Right.
You know, these are the usual suspects,
Yeah.
right? And they've done this to every country. Of course, they've done it to the United States. We owe 37 and counting trillion dollars. They've done it to every single country in the world. And this is how they keep these countries under their thumb. And this is how they actually control world intrigue. It's all coming from the same place. And they like to meet in Davos. So if you see where these people go, they go there
Yes.
every year. They go to
Yes.
Davos. It's in Switzerland. This is like the oh, we're the Switzerland here. No, this is an evil place where these
Yeah.
people come together, and you can't have war there because those people have to be protected so that they can kill all of us. That's
Yes.
what's really going on over there. The worst people came out of there. Lenin was there. Trotsky was over there. Their plan, the whole plan is to kill all of us. It's they're not going to tell you that, but look at what's happened.
Yeah, I want to make the final point that Dora made a great point. Speaking about how that comes out of our pocket, to say the least, and goes straight to the hedge fund managers and all these people you were just talking about, is he said that $40 billion would more than take care of the proposed decrease in the bill for Medicare. As bad as our healthcare system is, and people are up in arms about Medicare being messed with right now. He named literally about 10 different places with that 40 billion. Actually, he talks about how it would really total 60 billion. How it could change America. 60 billion.
I could see that. As long as our government doesn't handle it, again, this is,
Uh-huh.
I could see a natural movement coming together of Americans that are finally awake and saying, "Wait a second, we want to take
Uh-huh.
back our
Uh-huh.
sovereignty here." And we can see. My understanding is that our tax dollars don't even go to our government. It goes outside of our country, and that our government actually is making surplus money off of its investments and could actually survive without any of our tax dollars. And so the very scenario that you talked about is something that's actually possible today. But of course, the powers that be, it would break their whole gravy train
There
if
you go.
suddenly this were to happen.
It's freeing the
And
slaves back in,
yeah, that's right.
1840 or whenever it was.
And here's something interesting about slavery too, because I've read a lot of books about this, and a lot of the attitude was, well, these people are savages, and if we didn't take care of them, if we didn't show them Christianity, they wouldn't know how to take care of themselves. And this is the attitude that comes from the elites towards
Uh-huh.
us.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
is that they've got their silly Christianity. They want their Bibles and their guns. Remember when Obama said that? It's like such a mocking kind of thing that's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
They
It's so
they see us
cringe.
as like we're like the toddlers that they have to. Oh, Johnny needs a spanking now. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yes.
how they look. And when you hear them talk again, go back to like the World Economic Forum in Davos and listen to how they talk. That's exactly how they're talking. Like we're
Right.
unruly little kids that need to be disciplined, and we need to have these guardrails, because if we don't have their guardrails, we'll perish without them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think the awareness that's coming about very quickly is that they're not catching up to this quickly enough, catching on. We're running out of time, buddy. There's a lot of other
Once
things to
again,
talk about. There's the punchers. You wanted possibly to talk about the bringing in troops into different cities. I forgot about the NBA gambling thing. I don't know if you care about talking. I don't know how important that is, but God, there's the annexation of Israel. If you want, whatever you want to talk about.
let me just finish. Let me just bring this up because I think this is important. Is we're seeing all of this violence happening in all of our major cities right now. New York City, it seems like it's going to blow up when they elect Mamdani over there, the communist, and who knows what's going to happen. But all of this rebellion that's going on, and violence that's happening as well. I wanted to bring up something I heard and just get your opinion on this. It's a term that I heard called stochastic terrorism. And I never heard that before. Stochastic, Stochastic, terrorism is an analytic scholarship in counterterrorism to describe a mass mediated process in which hostile public rhetoric, repeated and amplified across communication platforms, elevates the statistical risk of ideologically motivated violence
Sure.
by unknown individuals, even without direct coordination or explicit orders.
Oh, sure, I get that.
So we're seeing this. It looks like that's what these cities that President Trump has sent these ICE the troops in the National Guard to support ICE. We're seeing that in California, especially in Illinois right now. And the Governor Pritzker is talking about arresting ICE agents, but we're seeing people doing just random acts of violence against these people. And it's really crazy. But I wanted to show a contrast here because all of those cities are democratically run. But there's one city that these troops were sent to, which is Memphis. And there's a totally different experience that's happening there. Memphis, Tennessee.
Please for the warrant. Keep your hands up with nothing in your hand.
All good. You guys be safe. Thanks.
All right.
Lock them up.
There's been over 380 arrests made in Memphis, Tennessee in just a little bit over a week.
I done walked to the store. Y'all got me a bag of ice. I ain't walked to the store in about 20 years.
Boy, I tell you what, Memphis is a madhouse. The National Guard's done made 300 arrests, done taken 300 criminals off the street, and found like 9 missing children.
Ever since 12 and Trump done came to Memphis, I ain't heard no gunshots at night.
You know, for the first time in 5 years, my kids have been able to play in the backyard and be able to do it comfortably.
When the sis in Memphis says she's grateful because the last 2 weeks it's been quiet, it's been peaceful, her kids have been able to play, and y'all have a problem with that, it's becoming real clear who the enemy is.
It just really is astonishing how many people are thanking the National Guard for coming in and cleaning up their city, Memphis.
So this is something that they're not going to play in the mainstream media, but these people seem to be pretty darn happy that they can go back out onto the streets and they can do their normal thing. And I find it very interesting that that's not something that's being spoken about, and that it seems like it's a crime to come in and try to clean up all the criminals.
You know, I hope that is accurate and true the way that's portrayed right there. And I really, because I'm not sure. And
I've been hearing it for weeks now about, first off, the mayor of the city was very welcoming, and it's mostly Black community. The mayor is Black as well. The state government was welcoming. The ICE agents that came, people are praising them. That this isn't something that was just this clip. This has been something I've been hearing for weeks down there that's just not being reported whatsoever. And this is it. It's the information that we're being poisoned with on a daily basis about what's going on. And yet it's never a balanced story. Maybe those people are mad, but with the stochastic terrorism that I'm seeing, it's really about what these government officials are saying, what they're saying in the media, what these talking heads are saying as well, is causing people to act crazy. And they think that after they hear this, that they're doing something good by stirring up violence and also this obstructionist type of behavior. They actually think that they're uniting America, but it's like they've been brainwashed into doing these types of things. And it's something that we got to deal with. I don't know how we deal with it, but it's this rhetoric that's been going on, and it's both sides. I say both sides when I say Republican and Democrat, but it seems like the violence is mostly coming from the Democrat side, at least right now.
And I think I would call that a far left movement, but I don't know. It's there's definitely a problem with violence on the left and people accepting it, using it. I don't know.
Well, it seems like crime is actually the catalyst that moves us towards total chaos, where we can then break down the society and renew it into the communist government that they absolutely want to move it into. And that's been the plan. That's what they did in Venezuela. That's what they did in Cuba. That's what they did in the USSR. That's the cookie cutter. And we are in the cookie cutter right now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
It definitely seems like that. Where else do you want to go with this? Remember, I got a very good lighter side.
Let's do the lighter side.
Okay. Let me get this ready. This I found on Instagram, which I never go on Instagram, but dude, you're going to love it. It's so funny. It's big enough. Let me know.
I have a tiny dog.
Okay, so you can see that.
Yes.
Is this big enough? Yep. Okay. Here we go.
What? Oh my God.
Watch this. She just disappears. That guy's drunk. That guy's drunk for sure. Watch this. Some of these hurt. Look at this.
Oh my God.
This guy's in a wheelchair, for God's sakes. And I want to stop and explain for a minute. This is a video compilation of people being pulled to drastic lengths by their big dog. A big dog that they have no business of trying to control. And it is really funny. This kid's in a wheelchair, so we should be, cringing. But let's go.
This is bad.
You okay?
Yeah.
Not the first time. Not the first time that happened.
The guy on the ground was asking the woman if she was okay.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
Oh my God, it's pressing the Oh, that's gonna hurt for a while. Oh, that was like a bear.
Yeah. That kid got.
And there goes the car. Oh, no. Oh my God. Okay, this is
downstairs.
All the way back to the car.
Okay. That was the last one. I gotta show you this
That
again.
woman went flying like Superman. There she goes. Take off.
Completely. Oh, that's the first one. We're watching a kid. Look how this had to hurt so bad.
Oh man, she's just crap.
Her
Let's
face.
just make her run right into the wall.
In fact, she was like, forget the dog. She didn't even wherever that dog's gone.
Jeez. Wow. Yes, you gotta be able to control your dog.
Yeah, I've been the victim of people running at me with their dogs that they can't control.
Well, and it can be dangerous too.
Watch
this is gone.
Oh, it is dangerous, man. That's off the car. This guy's drunk. He just, look at that. Look at that.
He didn't have a chance.
He didn't even catch himself.
He just gave up.
This poor guy. Oh, that hurt.
Charlie. This is serious. I look how she goes over that chair.
That's funny.
It's funny. It's like a dead body.
This poor kid.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he didn't let go of that leash.
On the ground. Yeah.
This.
Get sued. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that hurt me.
Oh, that's good.
That was fun. This one. That poor kid.
So many things are happening right there.
Yeah. Oh, that's screaming.
There goes the car.
This one.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
that
horrible
hurt.
right there.
That hurt.
That is a bad one. Listen bad.
Downstairs.
Like how she just goes backwards.
Across the yard. That one.
Okay, doing.
Dude, that's so funny. All right. Okay, let's wind up here. Mark is coming up with yet another AI tip for us. So looking forward to that. Please go to over50startingover.com, sign up for the email list, get it to your email box as it happens, and sign up at Over 50 Starting Over on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, Google Play. We are everywhere. And with that, I'm going to just go out and watch it rain.
All right, have fun.
Well, hello there, Over 50 Starting Over friends. Mark Tennant back with you with your AI tip of the week. This week, the power of context. How to get AI to think like you. Have you ever wondered why sometimes AI misses the mark? It's just not right. You know, sometimes it's not your question or your prompt. It's context. It's missing. Context tells the AI who it should be, who the audience is, and why it's doing what it's doing, why it's doing that task. Context allows the AI to move past generic responses by understanding the required persona, the target audience, and what the final objective is. So once you understand that, we want to refine. So you want to run that first prompt. We're going to call this iterative refinement. You're just going to iterate, keep going through until we get that prompt right. The first answer, it is just a draft. That next statement or the statements that follow that should refine that context. So if the first answer is wrong, and it usually is, or it's missing something, tell it exactly what it's missing. Say, hey, you forgot this. Or if it just hallucinates and comes with something that's just totally not true, call it out. It will apologize to you after that. And you just want to keep iterating and talking through things till you finally get that response that you're looking for. Always build on that last answer. You could say, now make that paragraph slightly shorter and wittier. You want to inject some personality about yourself. You can tell the AI to adopt my voice, which is direct, slightly humorous, and highly practical, or whatever your personality might be. Then we come to those reasoning steps. This is where the AI starts thinking about what you want, and you can ask the model to list 3 ways you will approach this task before generating the final output. So you're talking to it. It's just reasoning through the task of what it's supposed to do. You can provide those constraints. In other words, tell it what to avoid. Don't use technical jargon or acronyms or anything like that you don't understand. And you can follow this roadmap to develop the prompt or develop your own roadmap. Just remember to add context to every single prompt. So we have an example prompt. I went through this exercise. I had a basic prompt, and then I finally came up with this, which is what I was satisfied with. Act as a seasoned AI marketer and prompt engineer who specializes in making technology accessible and practical for everyday use. Your audience is the audience of a highly rated podcast, an over 50 demographic. The tone should be encouraging, friendly, and practical, emphasizing achievable gains without hype. Your task is to generate content for a short white paper on the subject, being over 50 and becoming AI literate. We added some constraints. Create an executive summary of 1 or 2 paragraphs. Next, generate exactly 4 or 5 distinct paragraphs with a bolded headline for each paragraph. Don't use technical jargon like LLM or API. And the final takeaway must be focused on time saving through better initial input. Include a concise and to the point ending summary. So that's what I came up with. We have a role there. We have the context of who the audience is, what we're trying to do, what we want the final output to be. And this is what we got. We had a nice executive summary. And by the way, if you're just listening to this, you might want to dial up the video on YouTube and stop it at this point so you can take a look at the prompt, and then you can take a look here at the response. It gives some great paragraphs, why AI literacy matters over 50, and learning by doing. Small wins build that confidence. Another paragraph on the hidden skill of getting better at adding instructions, and finally, a summary for that prompt. Not bad. Adding that context really, really makes the difference. So to wrap up, remember to define that role. Remember to set guardrails, what you want it to do, what you don't want it to do. Build on that conversation, and you can save time with context. So it's your turn. I want you to define a persona, pick one daily task that you might do, and have AI assume that role as the expert. Request the format, ask the AI to create a simple list or a short paragraph, and you can refine those results. Don't settle for the first answer on every try. Never do that, and keep iterating, keep getting what you want until you get that final output that you're looking for. So, how do you think you'll do? Let me know when you try it out. Email me, mark@marktenet.net. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions as well, anytime. That is my personal email. I answer every single note. And we're on the socials. LinkedIn probably is the best place to find me, at Mark E. Tenet. We talked about advanced AI voice in the past. We're going to start talking to it and about it here in the coming episodes. And until then, have a great week. Talk to you then.